G'day and welcome to the next episode of GRAYZBILDZ. Back on the 200 series, we're going to be fitting the Safari ARMAX snorkel and hooking it up to the Moonlight stainless steel airbox. Okay, here we have the Safari ARMAX snorkel box. Let's have a look and see what's inside. I'll have to do a bit of voiceover here because the fan noise is too loud, but this is the foam backing that goes between the snorkel and the mudguard, and the piece of cardboard is the template for drilling and cutting your holes for the template for the snorkel. This is the third Safari snorkel that I've fitted to a vehicle now. Safari's very good with their instructions, very clear, very concise, and straight to the point. Step one of the instructions, so to remove the air entry flange and diesel air entry duct. Again, it's a bit hard to hear me over the fan, so I'm just saying the next step is to remove the inner guard and the mud flap, which is what we'll get into now. I so look forward to the day that I've got a hoist. It's about now that I start realising that it would be much easier to remove the wheel to get access to all of these damn Toyota clips, which are very, very good clips. They hang on really well, but getting them out once they've been in for a while and got a bit of mud on them and whatever else is a pain in the neck.
A few moments later.
Toyota love their plastic clips. There is a stack. One there, 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 one there. All that to get access to the old air intake pipe up in there. There's only two screws, two 10mm bolts, one there and one there. So I won't film that. I'm on my back. Damn, I need a hoist. Correction, 3 bolts. And that is your standard intake. Rubbish. Next step in the process is to remove the perforations on this cardboard template, so it allows it to sit flat against the mudguard, and then very carefully and accurately tape it to the mudguard. I'm just pointing out that I always use masking tape over the paint in the area where I'm going to be cutting, and mask it off before you do any cuts. Incidentally, the key-shaped slot in the cardboard allows the cardboard to actually mould around the compound shape of the guard. Using a Sharpie and the template, you just trace around the cutout holes and all of the holes that are in the cardboard, marking where the drilled 16mm holes go for mounting, and also where the twin 115mm, I think it is, diameter hole saw holes are cut. I actually didn't have one of those. I thought I had one in my toolkit, but I didn't have one. So it was a good opportunity to use my new M12 Milwaukee jigsaw. Just measuring out and using my old high school compass. It's got to be at least 40 years old now. To scribe the line, since I don't have the hole saw, to scribe the arc to cut with my jigsaw. Just adding a little bit more tape to protect the paintwork. Although the Milwaukee M12 jigsaw has a soft base, it's still very easy to mark your paintwork, so a little bit of extra masking tape doesn't hurt here. Now the moment every DIYer hates, drilling a hole into a perfectly nicely painted guard for the first time. Obviously you're sure now that your template was in the correct spot, and then carefully and calmly using the M12 jigsaw to cut around the arc. Probably could have filmed this a little bit better, couldn't I? But really it's just using a jigsaw. Just take your time, don't rush it, let the blade do the job, and be as accurate as possible. Now using about a 3 or a 4mm drill bit to drill a pilot hole before using the step drill to drill out to 16mm all of the mount holes. Use a good quality step drill. I find a lot of the cheaper ones are rubbish. They dull very easily. This is a good quality Milwaukee one, and it had no trouble with the Toyota panel. You can see that it just bites straight through into the panel down to 16mm. Obviously it needs deburring at the end. That's what I'm using my deburring tool here. The larger hole I do need to use a rat tail file on, but the deburring tool does a pretty good job. Most modern vehicles have excellent rust preventative treatment now with zinc based undercoats, etc., and zinc plating. Obviously as soon as you break the surface though, you need to re-protect the surface, so I'm just using a bit of spray paint into the top of the lid and then touching it off right around the edge. Need to be reasonably liberal with it to give a good coat, but make sure that you cover all the surfaces where you've broken the surface of the paint. Next step in the directions is to find the studs and apply a little bit of Loctite 243 and thread them into the brass inserts into the plastic snorkel. Next step is to attach the A-pillar mounting bracket so that you can place the snorkel onto the vehicle to mark out where the bracket goes and therefore drill the holes. Also, I'm attaching the foam insert that goes between the snorkel and the paintwork. Now just putting the snorkel on the vehicle to be able to mark out where the bracket goes and therefore drill the holes. As you can see, I've already placed a bit of tape on the A-pillar, marked where the bracket goes on the outside, top and bottom, and then it's a matter of removing the snorkel again, removing the 2 bolts from the bracket and using the bracket as a template, drilling your 3 holes in the A-pillar and putting the plastic inserts in. Again, drill pilot holes. I think from memory these then were 8mm holes for the plastic inserts. And of course, good trade practices, deburring and corrosion preventative with a bit more paint, touch-up paint. Once the touch-up paint's dry, just insert the 3 plastic plugs and then you're ready to install. I lost a little bit of footage. I actually attached the rubber boot to the snorkel with a bit of sensor-safe silicone. It made it much easier to get the boot through the hole into where the airbox is. Using the flat washers and the rubber washers, you then attach the snorkel to the back of the inside of the guard and attach your snorkel head. Well, it's bloody hot here, but that's the completion of the installation. Obviously, I still have to install the liner. I did forget to show you, I put on some silicone before putting the boot on, which is always a good idea. And yeah, that's it. So if you're interested in seeing part 1 of this story, the airbox upgrade, then I'll put a link up on the screen here. Hope you enjoyed it. It's bloody hot here in the Northern Territory.